look, Georges St-Pierre, you know, he took 4 years off and everything like that, but he's still one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. And you saw that in that fight.
Yeah.
I don't think he was, I mean, Michael cut him. He cut him with those elbows, particularly from the bottom. But, you know, Georges St-Pierre, he's a special guy. He really is a special athlete.
People were really underestimating how great Georges St-Pierre was.
Yeah.
He's a guy who beat every person that was ever put in front of him. The losses that he had avenged so beautifully.
Dominantly.
Georges St-Pierre is a monster, and you know, I think that everyone, including myself, you know, really didn't think he was going to be able to come back with that long of a layoff and compete the way that, you know, you said it yourself. Mike was just mentally pushing himself forward, getting better and better. Michael Bisping today destroys Michael Bisping, a younger Michael Bisping 7 years ago. That's crazy. He's an older man now.
Yeah, maybe. It's entirely possible. I mean, the fighting is such a crazy proposition that even with, like, elite guys, like even when someone won a fight, like if you made them fight again, would they win 100% of the time? I don't think they would.
Not 100%.
Not at all.
No.
For
So
sure.
there's things in weird events that can change your fortune in a fight.
Yeah, Georges St-Pierre is the greatest ever. If you
pretty
have to make a
close.
case for, if you have to make a case, I don't think there's a stronger case for anyone than for Georges
That was
St-Pierre.
crazy.
Even
Him
as you
coming
said
back.
he beat everyone who he ever faced. He had 2 losses that were Matt Hughes and Matt Serra, right? And came back and destroyed them in the rematches.
Yeah.
Matt Hughes twice, and Matt Serra just came back and beat him in the third rubber match. Never happened.
Right.
And then, after retiring, comes back and wins a championship, a division up.
Not just that, but
4 years
finishes Michael Bisping and chokes him unconscious with a rear naked choke that was one of the tightest, most cinched up rear naked chokes I've ever seen anybody perform ever. I mean, he had it like a jiu-jitsu guy. Like a lot of MMA guys, they have a harder time getting those gloves fully locked into position. That's what George did. And the way he did it was like as tight and sweet and 4-star black belt level rear naked choke that you ever see in the
All
UFC.
right. God damn it, it's hard to listen to you describe it so beautifully.
The Khabib fight. And on the ground, I mean, he just got mauled. And it's one of those things where you see that guy, in the beginning, guys fight him off a little bit, and then as the fight wears on, he just gets more and more dominant. They get more and more exhausted. Really, this fight just makes Ally Aquinta look like a god. I mean, that's the most impressive thing about it. Ally Aquinta went 5 rounds with him, stood toe-to-toe with him, and, you know, gave him at least a struggle. At least he gave him a bit of adversity.
Yep.
You know, managed to survive on the ground much better than Conor did. Managed to get back up to his feet. Managed to stuff a bunch of takedowns. And on the feet was a real threat. When do you think you're going to retire? Do you have an idea?
Oh, I'm never
40?
gonna 40. It's impossible that I fight past 40.
Impossible.
I'm not gonna fight in a cage at 40 years old, man.
But
It's
you're
like
37. Do you
man,
think,
it's like
what
a
if you
kid.
feel
It's
just
like
as
it's
good?
like a kid that play like that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. What he says to me, it's like a kid that play with a train. He's 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old. Then you look at the train when you get 6 years old, you're like, what the hell I'm doing with that train? At 40 years old, it's finished for me. Fighting in a cage, are you? I've done it. It's like it's not interesting right now. 40 years old, I'm a grown man. I'm not gonna fight in a freaking cage at 40 years old.
Well, the comeback alone was like one of the greatest comebacks ever.
Yeah.
They come back after 4 years, win the title, beat the champion, and beat him definitively. Rear naked choke, put him to sleep.
That's why, Joe, it need to be something that really excites. Satisfaction is the death blow, and it's true. Now I'm happy, I'm satisfied. But if I see something on a
Satisfaction is what? What does he say?
is death blow, is finish. If you're satisfied, if you're a champion and you're satisfied, you retire, man, because you're going down, you finish.
Right.
You're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
As an athlete, especially in our game. Now, man, everything I do, I go further and further.
Right.
That's why I didn't want to fight Nate Diaz. 'Cause if I fight Nate Diaz, if it's been done before, it's not excited for me, and I would be going into that fight satisfied. And if I do that, it's very dangerous. I want to do something that I'm like the 155. I'm like, I never did it before. Title, like, or beating a certain guy that he's on a freaking rise. And
Well, that would be Khabib then, because like
Could be
Nate,
Khabib, could
Nate has
be-
already beaten Conor.
could be Khabib, could be, I don't know, if they're new guy that do something that is
Right.
unbeatable.
Right.
And me, I come back, I'm like, oh, George never gonna beat that. When you say never, man, I
Right.
love it. They say never when they know that as crazy as it is when you said never gonna come back. I'm like it excite me. And when you say I cannot do that, it's never been done before. That's mean if I do it, it will be the first time. That excite me.
Yeah.
That really turned me on. There's a lot of things that turn me on in life. Is a woman, dinosaurs, and this the
Dinosaurs.
people that say you don't. That really make me going crazy.
Why
you know?
dinosaurs?
No, but it's paleontology. Since I'm kid,
You really love
I study
paleontology?
paleontology.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I talked with my father, like 1 year ago, he told me his dream fight, me versus Georges St-Pierre. Because I remember when I grew up, like 11, 12 years ago, when I competition in Combat Sambo Dagestan Championship, like junior Combat Sambo Dagestan Championship, he fight for the UFC title. And like when I grew up, I watch his fights, like all fights with my father, and he is greatest athlete who ever competed in UFC, middleweight, welterweight champion. And I hear about like he wanna come and fight in 155, take this belt, make history, become UFC 3 division champion. You know, why not me versus Georges St-Pierre? Like if I beat Conor or if I beat Georges St-Pierre, which one is better for my legacy? Maybe for money is Conor, but for legacy is Georges St-Pierre. But we don't know about money too, because me versus Georges St-Pierre is gonna be big fight, you know.
There's no way I can tell you I'm not biased. I'm biased for sure, but I think George, just his kicking ability alone, George's kicking ability alone will bank him in rounds. They're both good jabbers, actually. I think Khabib's a good jabber, but I think defensively George is far superior. Defensively.
Agree.
His boxing is longer and better, more precise. If you look at it statistically, I think George's numbers are better. And he has a superior kicking ability. Even if Khabib were to take George down, let's give the best case scenario. I think George is getting up, personally. Like, he's going to get up. George's jiu-jitsu is impeccable. It's impeccable. Like, it's not going to be like holding down anybody in the 155 division today. It's another level. George, even if Khabib gets him down, and I love Khabib. I'm a mega Khabib fan, guys. I'm telling you, like, I'm a mega Khabib fan. As a person and as a fighter, I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
George's ability to get up is incredible. And I would be surprised if Khabib ever gets more than one takedown. It would shock me. It would surprise me, to be honest with you. Like, George is incredibly hard to take down. Look at his career. How many times has he been taken down? And when he was taken down, how long did he stay down? It was a fraction of a second. Like, he's always up. He's a difficult human being to keep down.
Could that fight happen?
I think so. I think it's a possibility.
He's not done yet?
Listen, I don't want to talk for the guy. I don't think he's done. Like,
Have you talked to him about this?
yeah, of course. We always talk.
Yeah.
Sure. I just think he's so competitive that one day he's going to see a guy that everybody thinks is unbeatable, and then he's going to want to come back. Khabib's one of those guys. But it has to be like a 160.